All right, folks, for those of you listening on the podcast, we are ready. We are waiting for the gremlins at YouTube to put us live underway at YouTube. Just give us a second as the gremlins get everything going. I am switching over to Creator Studio mode, and I can go ahead and get this here. We're going to copy the link, go over to Twix, the link, post the link, and we are live. We're live, pal. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Suds News, brought to you by Suds and Squared Circle Media. I am Vinnie. This is Angela, and we are here live once again. As you guys well know, we did take last week off. That was because of me and my work schedule. So we got 2 weeks of GH to go over. But you know what? Those 2 weeks went by very quickly because the show has been so good lately.
Uh-huh.
All right. So before we get into it, let's go over our plugs. As always, we are an official affiliate for the WWE shop, which is a Fanatics experience. So go over to suds-media.com/wrestling merch. That does have our affiliate link in there, and whatever you buy does give us commission, and it helps with the show. I am going to go ahead and do something new. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat. We do have a Buy Me a Coffee as well as a Patreon. Go ahead, and if you want to donate and help the podcast, you can. If not, you could subscribe to Patreon, because we're going to be having some stuff come up on Patreon going forward. Suds and Squared Circle. Okay, so that's Buy Me a Coffee as well as Patreon. So you can go ahead and help out the show, and also get some um pretty cool stuff. All right. Um, got a lot of stuff dropping this week. As always, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific is going to be Dockside at the Bay, which is Kim and I going over the next two episodes of The Bay, which is a web series. Also debuting this coming Wednesday here on YouTube, is not going to be live. It has already been pre-recorded. But Angela and I are going down to Studio City with Take Me Down to Studio City, focusing on Sean Kanan's web series, Studio City, which you can find on Roku channel, as well as Tubi TV, as well as possibly Apple TV. Um, but that's been great. That's going to be starting. That's going to be another weekly series. Every Wednesday, it's going to drop. Starting next Friday, the 27th of September, is going to be Sports Entertainment Center. Chairshot Sport, the guy John from Chairshot Sports and I are going to be doing your weekly wrestling podcast, and that's going to be coming out every Friday. So just a lot of, I can't forget it. It's dropping this Thursday. Angela Answers Fan Mail. That's going to be on both YouTube and Patreon. So definitely sign up for our Patreon, because that's going to be going out on there as well. Angela, what's been going on? Tell us about some of the new stuff coming and how you're feeling about the newer stuff coming up.
I am so excited. Everybody that has ever spoken to me about anything soap opera related knows that I am a huge Studio City fan. So I absolutely, can talk about that forever. Love it, love it, love it. And Angela Answers Fan Mail is a lot of fun. I got to tell you guys, my fans, very weird group of people.
Yes.
I mean, it's fitting because I too am weird, but it's yeah, very weird group of people, but we're going to have some fun with that too. So there's that. And a lot of exciting things are happening with Petty Prattle. So yeah, stay tuned. We've got lots of great stuff coming. Get some other new podcasts starting aside from those. We're doing a new one on Found, the
Okay.
NBC show that is amazing. And I am also going to be starting one that I'm going to do with various guest hosts, and I'm probably going to hit you up for this as well, called Be Kind Rewind, where we just watch random episodes of old shows
Okay.
or maybe even old movies, anything. And then we talk about them.
All right.
So I've been doing rewatches of a bunch of fun old series that are no longer on. And I thought that would be a fun one to do
I
as
I am still looking for a co-host for a Heels podcast. Heels is now on Netflix. Seasons one
well.
was originally on Stars, got canceled during the pandemic. But I am looking for a co-host to do a show about Heels. So let me know if you're interested. David, welcome to the chat. He says, good evening, Vinnie and Angela.
Hi,
Um,
David.
Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, get notified. I want to thank everybody for subscribing. We've been getting subscribers every single week and growing. We do want to get to that 500 milestone, so we can start doing super chats and all that. But until then, go ahead and go buy us a coffee or subscribe to Patreon. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Either way, we've got a lot to go over. We've got 2 weeks of General Hospital to go over because we
Mm-hmm.
did not talk about last week's episodes because we weren't here last week. Um, but a lot's been going on, a lot's been getting tied up, and the search for Lucky is underway.
Yes.
Not only did we see Laura and Kevin uh, decide Roby or out to Africa, but also
Mm-hmm.
now um, Jason and
Jason and Anna.
are,
Mm-hmm.
are on their way out there,
Yes.
and they both came to it completely different means.
Yes. And they ended up on the same flight, which probably isn't that weird for
Right.
Port Charles. You know,
Yep.
it's not that big of a not I'm sure there's not tons of flights to Somalia leaving from Port Charles every day.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's one thing I have to do is I have to give a shout out to the Shannon from Pier 54 who actually looked up flights to Somalia from the New York area uh New York area airports and from Rochester or Buffalo it's a
Mm-hmm.
2 hour flight, so the time frame that Anna gave of 18 hours is not accurate, but from JFK there's a nonstop for 14 hours. So it might have been going from JFK. Who knows? With a
Yeah.
um, but either way, sometimes those nerd moments that Shannon brings out are hilarious.
Yes.
Um, okay, so yeah, so they're on their way out to Somalia, and you know this be the first actual mission, WSB style mission for Jason?
Yeah, Jason's had, good guy missions before, but this one he's into with Anna, and they're gonna mix it up with Holly, and yeah, he's gonna get a taste of the WSB-ish type stuff, which I think will be another step towards him making that his career, because I think that's where this is headed.
I I tend to agree with you. I think that I really do think that this might be the new career for Jason going forward because even and you pointed this out, I didn't really catch it, but when Sonny asked Jason to get rid of the gun that killed Kate, he was almost, I don't know about hesitant, but he was more annoyed about it.
Right, and especially when he was doing it.
Yeah.
And he put it in the vat of acid and he just had this look on his face of just like, I can't believe I still have to do this stupid shit for this idiot
Yes.
who keeps doing these stupid things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, right. And it's almost like and I said it before, I don't want Jason to come back if it's just going to be the same old, same old. And I
Mm-hmm.
think Jason, the character himself, is almost sick of it. Like, really, I'm back into the same old routine.
Right.
I
And,
feel like he's,
Sonny did this thing, and not only is he in trouble,
yep,
he dragged Carly into it.
yes.
Michael's involved. Jason's
Yep.
just like,
So we know that, obviously we saw it on screen that Sonny killed Jagger. So
Mhm.
there's no denying it. There's no refuting it. There's no nothing. Sonny was the person that pulled the trigger. There's
And
no way of,
Jagger wasn't armed. It
right.
wasn't self-defense. It wasn't in defense of somebody else. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure Jagger had a gun on him, but it wasn't pulled. Sonny had gloves on. He planned to do it. He set up the meet with Jagger there.
Yes.
He planned to do it on the Quartermain grounds, which quite frankly, I'm annoyed that Michael's not annoyed at him for that. But,
Right.
you know.
Um, so David agrees. I
Mhm.
back in the mob. Let's show growth of character, please. And that's the one thing we've been wanting since the beginning is a growth of character.
Mhm.
So um Jason has been quite busy. Obviously, I have to say I absolutely loved the scenes between Brennan and Carly about, Brennan. First of all, we mentioned it the last time. Brennan called Carly specifically to get Jason to come down.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then Carly goes to see Brennan with a favor about finding Lucky.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I've got to ask you because you are the you are the historian on Carly.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people on social media who are getting on Carly's case about the time spent with Lulu,
Well,
even though they're cousins. And Carly is showing the ideas of being the matriarch of the Spencer family at this point.
mhm.
Um,
Well, here's the thing.
that's not necessarily true.
Here's the thing. At one time, Carly and Lulu were very, very, very close.
Yeah,
They were like sisters close. Laura was in her vegetative state, whatever it was, whatever it was.
right. Yeah,
And it was Tracy and Carly who were raising Lulu and there for Lulu.
yes,
Carly and Lulu were incredibly, incredibly, incredibly close as whatever, like sisters.
yeah,
And then, all of the stuff happened with Dante and Michael going to prison, and Lulu sided with Dante.
yeah,
And it caused a falling out with her and Carly, and it got nasty.
yeah.
Without a doubt, it got nasty.
That
They
was
got past it.
yeah,
They haven't ever been as close as they were before, but um um her last two weddings to Sonny
yeah,
in 2019, Lulu was her maid of honor.
yeah. She was.
Lulu and Olivia were there when Carly found out she was pregnant with Donna.
Welcome Taiwan to the chat. Let's see. So Taiwan says, "Yeah, I'm not here to talk about Carly. I want to talk about that too, and Michael and the AJ. And why do you think Michael is the reason why they're taking Michael and turning him into a serial killer type person, but he's guilty of Jagger's death? Uh,
Michael's not guilty of Jagger's death. Sonny is guilty of Jagger's death.
Michael's covering it up. Michael
Yeah,
is covering it
right.
up, and he's which I gotta say these there's just so much to go over. So let's
Right.
kind of go back
All
from
right. Let me go back to where we were. So Carly and Lulu were not, when Lulu went into the coma, Carly and Lulu were not as close as they had been before, but they weren't estranged.
right.
They were rebuilding their relationship.
Yes.
And Carly wasn't, when she was at her bedside, she said, we were once really close and then we weren't. You know what I mean? She wasn't trying to claim that they were still close. She
Right.
was saying that she wanted to get that back.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the people who are like, how dare she? Oh,
Yeah.
what? Family members have a falling out and they can never, ever again.
Yeah. I don't get.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially when you're faced with the possible, death or something of a family member, it can change things,
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
or an old friend. So this is more just piling on with Carly ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Now,
Um,
as far as the Spencer family, she is the matriarch of the Spencer family.
yeah, Bobby
She's
Pat.
not, Laura's not a Spencer anymore.
No, she's not. She's a Collins at this point.
Right,
Her kids are Spencers, but
right.
outside of
But
that, Laura.
Carly is just as much a Spencer as Lulu and Lucky are,
Yes.
and Ethan.
Yep.
She is Bobby's daughter, just like they are Luke's kids.
Yes.
And Luke was always the first one to tell Carly that she was a Spencer and used to say that she was the one who was most like him.
Yeah.
A lot of this is just people wanting to erase Carly's Spencerness.
Yeah.
They don't want her.
And it was brought up. Dante went off on Carly, um,
Mhm.
about how she hired Brooklyn to break them up,
Yeah,
to seduce Dante, and um, now are they, is they're now showing that there could be a possible secret between Dante and Brooklyn, which could,
yeah. They're implying that there was some sort of relationship there before Brooklyn came to Port
yeah.
Charles,
So
which is interesting.
that's very interesting. That's a twist that we didn't see coming.
Yeah,
Um, but Dante also had a secret with Cody at one point, and that was
right.
kind of dropped. Um, okay, so while we're at the idea that we know Sonny killed Jagger, Michael is covering it up. Carly is, giving Sonny the alibi, saying they had a
Mhm.
trick, or as Lois put
But
it, they went room in Tracy's room.
I did, that was hysterical, Tracy's whatever. But Tracy also, she's all upset about this, but she also thinks Sonny killed Jagger.
Yeah,
So which is true? Which does she think it is? Unless she just thinks that, Sonny's that quick, which, with her low opinion of Sonny, she could.
yeah,
Um, but I thought it was really funny how Carly, wanted to know what happened, but then when Sonny was like, "But we don't have marital privilege, so unless you want to marry me," and she instantly stopped the question. She's
yes,
like, "No, no, I'm good.
yeah,
Curiosity ain't killing this cat again."
yeah. But then,
Yeah.
and I like how they're kind of, and this is the one thing I absolutely love about the writing team right now is they're weaving people in and out of the main storyline, and they're weaving people in and out because we see now Alexis is arrested for for the murder of Jagger, and
Yeah. Sonny, what a guy. Just stood there and watched her get arrested for a murder he knows he committed.
yeah, and here's the thing, okay, and I'm going to ask you too. I put out a poll on Twix earlier, late last week, and I said, who is at fault for Alexis being arrested? Kristina, Rick, Alexis, or Scotty? And 44% said Alexis herself. Um, I'm assuming it's because she jumped to conclusions about the gun with that Kristina did it and went and threw the gun off the. But if you rewind it all back, and this is one of the reasons why I added Scotty, if Scotty had never done, subpoenaed Kristina to testify against Sonny, she would have never gone to go after Ava and the whole.
That's yeah. See, I don't agree with your premise there because Scotty was Ava's attorney in her custody battle.
Right.
He is obligated to do the best for his client.
Oh
And
yeah.
Kristina was an important witness as to Sonny's fitness as a parent.
Okay.
I think Scotty shouldn't have been on there, and I think Sonny should have been on there
Yeah.
because I put more blame on him since he's the one who actually did it. He knew this was coming.
Yeah.
He knew that Kristina and Alexis had gotten embroiled in it. He knew Alexis wasn't going to let Kristina face it. And
Right.
he just let Alexis take. So I would put the blame between Alexis and Sonny. With some to Kristina too, because she was the dumbass who took the damn gun in the first place. But the fact that she even had access to the gun safe is on Sonny.
Yeah, that's perplexing in itself. Um, But see, here's the thing: that gun that Alexis threw over the bridge was not the gun that was used to kill Case. I'm not saying
Right.
it wasn't a dirty gun in general, but
No, it was one of Sonny's clean guns.
right, it was a clean gun. So what I want to know is how is it that you know I mean, obviously the PCPD did have enough evidence at the time to arrest Alexis because Rick and Elizabeth went and put in their statements
Right.
to, say, oh, we saw her throwing the gun off of the bridge.
Well, they know that the gun that's missing of Sonny's, because it was registered and everything,
Right,
is the same caliber as the gun that killed.
right.
And that's the one that's missing. As far as, I mean, Sonny and Alexis have, a bond that they know of.
Yep.
And the fact that Alexis's car was seen, you missed this today, but Kristina last week said that she went to the Quartermains and sat in the driveway. She was in
Yep.
Alexis's car.
Right.
The PCPD know.
Yeah.
That was the evidence. And before they told Alexis that, they asked her about her car and who had driven it, and she told them only her.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, then, can you explain?
Right.
And she just sat there looking like she ate a bug.
Yeah.
So Alexis is in a corner right now. She
Yeah.
said, she told them that she was taking a walk after dinner and found the gun on her property.
Yeah.
And because her grandkids come over and play, she just wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to find the gun, but then say that it was too damaged in the fall from the bridge to
Yeah.
test for striations. But it is the same caliber, so that'll be circumstantial, whatever. Now, Jason has destroyed the real one
Yes.
and the shell casings.
Right. Yep.
So, it's not like somebody can even come forward with that gun or give it to somebody else or something like that to take the fall.
Yeah.
Michael wants to hire somebody to take the fall.
Yeah.
Not sure how big, good of a plan that is, but, he's not the smart, not the sharpest crayon in the box.
But the scene, the dialogue between him and Jocelyn this week, I absolutely loved. I
Yes.
think that with those scenes right there, it gave Michael more interest than he's had in a long time, in my opinion.
I do too. I wish Michael was interesting when he was standing up to Sonny. Now that he's back kissing his butt, I can't stand it. He should have been mad that Sonny did that on Monica's property, close to where his children live.
Oh yeah, of course.
He should have been.
Yeah.
He should have been mad that, he should, the fact that he said that mom will give you an alibi. I wanted to kick him right in the balls, but
Yeah.
that's Michael. That's the most disappointing of all of Carly's children. And I love Jocelyn.
Yeah.
Because she's right.
Yeah. But the way that Michael went and said, with all your conspiracies and who's hooking up with who, it's going to get somebody in trouble, or it could hurt a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just like, again, my question is, and we brought it up before, why would Carly even go through with it? Go along with it.
Well, she didn't know what she was going along with at first.
Right.
And, there's that whole he's Donna's father thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not playing her as, and I mean, it makes me crazy too, because, Sonny was, he's saying to Carly, oh, I know you always have my back. Well, just a couple weeks ago, you were telling her how much of a traitor she was.
Right. Exactly.
So it's crazy, but it's his Svengali hold, just like the hold he has on Jason, and that's the thing. Jagger was right.
Yeah.
He is the Pied Piper. He got his hands on these people when they were vulnerable and damaged.
Yeah.
And it's like heartwarming.
Yeah. And it does make sense because everybody that's come to town that has come to town specifically to take out Sonny, whether it's not necessarily a mob boss, but the law, whether it's a
Hmm.
whatever, ends up becoming part of Sonny's team, so to speak.
Yeah,
Whether he seduces them or he
yeah,
and eating the charges or what have you. The only Jagger was the only one that didn't fall in line and he
right.
ended up killed for it. Just to kind of catch up on chat, Taiwan, thank you so much for being so interactive with us. It's very great, and we will get to everything. He did say, I don't blame Scotty. I just think he should have used the fact that he was one Jason's stepfather.
Yeah, he was actually married to Jason's mother, Susan Moore.
More. Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it's setting up for when Michael and Willow break up, so that's why they're doing this whole murder thing of him helping out with this. Which again, the fact that Willow and Drew are, kind of teasing this whole
Yeah.
romance, and then Michael helping out his father, it's
Hmm.
going to lead to the eventual breakup of Willow and Michael.
Oh, absolutely it is. Without a doubt. Um, yeah, there's a lot of, they're setting up a lot of interesting things.
Yes.
This whole Brooklyn and, with this whole crew,
Yeah.
Cody, Sasha, Brooklyn, Dante, Chase,
Yeah.
Lulu, Michael, Willow, the whole, because I think that Willow's going to sleep with Drew, but I don't think she's going to end up with Drew.
No.
They're going to throw her back into the mix with, you know,
For a time they were teasing that Willow and TJ were going to end up having an affair.
mhm.
I know that never came to fruition, but it's always a
It still
possibility.
could. Right. Exactly.
Kaiwan says, I love the character of Susan Moore. I wish one day they'd bring her back, give her a ghost or something or an evil twin. I don't, I'm not familiar with Susan Moore because I started watching afterwards. So was she a big character?
No, I mean, she was only on for a few years. Alan had an affair with her.
Yeah.
She married Scotty. She was killed when Jason was a baby.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's how Alan and Monica ended up with Jason.
I mean, it's always a possibility, and you never say never in soap. So, I mean, if they do,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole Jason return story that the twins had originally plotted out before they were fired had included Susan Moore.
really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, maybe Kaiwan is onto something then.
Yeah. But they got fired for that story. So, but it was ridiculous in many a way. Believe me, it was absurd.
So,
But yeah.
so while Lucky is out in Somalia playing cards, and playing poker
For his
for
life.
Sidwell,
Mhm.
Sidwell portrayed by Carlo Rota, who is on Daily Drama this week with Bradford, and
Oh, I can't wait to watch that. Yeah. He's
fantastic
great.
episode. I listened to it today while I was at work. Um, and I didn't realize it because I knew I recognized him from somewhere. He was on the show Nikita that I
Mhm.
loved. So he I have a feeling he might end up once Lucky does get saved. I have a feeling he's going to follow back to Port Charles, so he'll be on it for a little longer than just a couple of weeks.
I have a feeling, I'm not positive, but we could be getting one of those really great November sweeps like Guza used to do
Yeah.
with some big umbrella story,
Oh,
and he could be, the bad, like the Metroport crisis and,
yep.
toxic balls, the monkey virus, all that stuff. I think we could be looking at another one of those.
I think the last great storyline that was really done in terms of an umbrella storyline was the one with the rain that had to cure everybody.
Mhm.
I forget what it was, but it was right after One Life to Live went on the air because I know that Todd
Mhm.
Manning is there.
Yeah.
and the one life
I
was,
think that one was the toxic balls story
yeah, I
with
believe it.
Holly. Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
but Holly has been, kind of poo-pooing Lucky, saying, "Oh, you're fine."
It's
Just
she's so funny while she's running her scam. And he's just like,
yes,
it's my life. And she's like, oh, just be charming like your father. And he's
yeah,
just like, are you effing kidding me?
and it's like Sidwell. I think Sidwell knows that Lucky has something up his sleeve. No pun intended,
But
because
he's entertaining him.
exactly he's entertaining him, and he's probably, in my opinion, kind of testing Lucky as to be part of his crew
Yeah.
at some, because
Mm-hmm.
they also showed where Sidwell thought somebody was, stealing from him, which he was, when his henchman comes in and said, "Oh yeah, the mine is drying up," and
Mm-hmm.
Lucky searched he killed the guy, and then Lucky
Yeah.
searched, found the diamonds or gold or whatever it was, and
Yeah.
he gave him a test and said, "Why do you think I, killed him?" And he's like, "Well, whether or not the mine is drying up, greed it doesn't."
Right.
So, the guy was
Yeah.
stealing from him, sure enough. But I'm so enthralled with the story because I don't know where it's going.
Right.
It's 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 very rare, or should I say, it's been rare in the past number of years that you can't predict where a story is going.
Right.
And I'm
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know where they end up. I don't see how they get there. So I'm very interested, because we know eventually Lucky's going to be back in Port Charles.
right.
You know, and I think that, him and Jason will be working together at the WSB. But
Yep.
how they get there, that path isn't completely laid, and that's what's fun.
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm just I am loving the story. And you know what the cast is too.
Mm-hmm.
Kirsten said it when she went on Daily Drama with Stephen Bradford,
Oh
that
yeah,
they're looking forward to the to the scripts as they're getting them, because the
and
story.
Steve's been saying it for months too, that they're having a blast. There's a new energy on set, and yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And just to point it out there for those of you who were um, complaining that Lindsay Hartley was on today's episode of Sam, those were recorded the same time as the funeral scene. So, she was there for that day. It wasn't that, Kelly
yeah,
Monaco, decided not to come back because she found out that she was being let go. It's
right.
none of that, because she's been filming this entire time.
Yep, she came back last Wednesday after the break and filmed her first day back for Wednesday, and then she is back filming today. She was on set today filming. She still
Yeah.
has a few more weeks of filming left. I'm pretty sure that Sam's not dying till November.
So, Caroline says, I think they're going to set up for a Lucky and Elizabeth triangle. And they're probably going to give Lucky a girlfriend. Rick is going to be with Elizabeth. I can see in the writing. Honestly, I'm not sure about Rick and Elizabeth, because the way that they wrote it, the way that the scenes last week were, is that Liz kind of stood up to him and said, "You don't know who I am anymore." Especially
Right,
when he said, "With Weber grew conscience." It's Baldwin. Thank you very much.
right. Yeah, no, I think that they're going to I don't think they're giving Lucky a girlfriend because they have him, thinking about Elizabeth and my lady, and she's going to have a dream about her coming up. So it's definitely a Lucky and Elizabeth story with them working their way back to each other, I think.
Yeah,
I think that they're going to dabble with Rick and Ava.
I think that's a good bet too. I like. First of all, I want to see Ava get back to where she was.
Mhm.
It's like she kind of showed a little bit of it when she was plotting with Jagger. You know,
Mhm.
gave Jagger the whole twist and
Yeah.
everything. I I really feel like this experience with the agent that was
Mhm.
that wasn't, so to speak, that
Yeah.
they hired to kill her, is
Mhm.
going to bring her back to her roots. And the fact that Rick is there. You know, he's during the
And
shit. Well,
yeah, I know you didn't see today, but there were really good scenes with her and Sonny at the gallery. And then Rick came in, and Sonny found out that Rick is her lawyer, and he is bullshit. He
oh,
is
I can.
bullshit on many a level.
But Rick is there just stirring the shit with everything because he's
Mhm.
not only is he going to represent Ava, he's also representing Heather Weber. You know, now that Scotty got scared off by,
Yeah,
or taken, I'm not sure which one. We still don't know which one yet, whether Scotty
yeah,
was,
yeah.
but um,
Hmm.
Rick is taking up for Heather. And I gotta say, the scene that Curtis and Rick, the conversation Curtis and Rick had, and
Hmm.
Rick kind of put it matter of factly, said, I don't care. I'm not going to get her out of prison. I'm going specifically for the medical malpractice.
Right,
And that kind of, showed Curtis like, okay, well, what happens if she does get the money? Well, then she might be in prison for the rest of her life, just sitting on a boatload of money. And then the family
uh-huh.
victims can sue, you know,
Right,
so it just makes sense that way because then, they'll be able to, it's a kind of a win-win for everybody, so to speak, without being morbid.
right. Yeah, I Curtis annoys me. Curtis annoys me a lot. Curtis has annoyed me for a very, very long time, but yeah,
Court's
he's
getting on my nerves, and she has been for a while now. Curtis, I kind of like, but yeah, I can understand there's a disconnect.
yeah. Well, he's sitting there, excusing Drew and Willow,
Yeah, exactly.
Mr., honesty and ugh. But, that's Curtis. That's how he is, his selective morality.
Yeah, I've kind of been seeing that also.
Yeah, but, whatever.
Yeah,
It'll bite him in the ass.
and is Rick is slimy, and we've known that. But I mean, I love how because right before the conversation with Curtis, he's talking to TJ and saying,
Hmm.
"Listen, Molly's family is not going to be there for her. You have to be there for her."
Right.
And it's like giving TJ the pep talk, and TJ's like, "Yeah, but she's working so much, and I'm trying to be there for her, and we're trying to get through this together." And and Rick's like, "Listen, you know,
Just do
I
it.
can,
My daughter.
yeah, exactly, just be there for my daughter." And
And I
it's
love that.
yeah,
I do. And I have to say, Alexis reminded me, has been reminding me what an absolute crap mother she is to Molly again.
yeah, yeah,
And like even today, and you didn't see this, but she was talking to Sam at the police station. And
yeah,
she told her, she's like, if this goes badly, I need you to promise you'll look out for Kristina.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, what about Molly?
Every word Molly said to her in her takedown last week was spot on.
Yeah, it was.
You know, Alexis tries to say, "Oh, I want this for both of you," but it's not. It's all about Kristina.
Yeah,
And she says to Molly, "You're both alone and you need each other." Molly's not alone. It's
no,
Kristina who's alone.
right,
And
exactly.
yeah, and it's infuriating.
I like how Christina is kind of showing a darker side. I
Hmm.
think that, just with everything going on, losing the baby, and I love how she insists on calling her Della. And, it's like it's kind of showing her, for lack of a better term, her psychosis. And Alexis
Yeah.
calls it postpartum, you know,
Hmm.
post-
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
going so much. And I'm not going to take it away from her. I've never had to give birth. I've never had to deal with postpartum depression myself. But it's just so much so that this is just showing Kristina taking so much from Sunny as opposed to Alexis.
Well, it's the worst parts of both her parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Alexis has her, dark side too. Her Cassidineness.
So Taiwan points out, what it makes some sense with Alexis. Alexis should know that Kristina is self-reliant. Kristina is the manager of a bar. This is totally outside the writing of girls that self-reliant. That's why they call it Davis girls. Not
No, Kristina has never been completely self-reliant. Kristina was always, yes, she was the manager of a bar and she can do stuff like that. But emotionally, Kristina is needy and always has been, and always been very dramatic and very self-centered. And that's Kristina.
And I think this is going to be showing Chris. I honestly feel like they're going in a direction where Christina's going to end up being diagnosed as bipolar or something to that effect, like Morgan, like Sunny.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
And I would, we mentioned it on the show a few weeks ago that, with the Spencers coming back and Holly coming back, I would love to see Ethan come back to kind of help Christina through this darker area because they have a friendship, and if not more. And
Well, yeah. And I mean, they're bringing Lucky back because he's Lulu's best chance. But if Lucky's not a match, then the next best chance would be Ethan.
Yes.
Because he's her half brother as well.
Right.
So that would make sense for them to bring Ethan back for that, especially with Holly being in town. So, we'll see if we see Ethan. It wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
If we see Ethan in all of this.
And I wouldn't mind seeing him. I like the character of Ethan. It's like I like just about every character in General, on General Hospital, in General Hospital. Do you think, speaking of different characters, kind of completely switching gears, do you think Finn is coming back?
Who?
Finn?
No.
Not at all.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Because the way that Brooklyn and Chase were talking about, the kids and kids and Violet saying Finn, your dad should be back in about a month. Is is he going to go dark without borders again and then just?
I mean, I think that's what they'll do because I think Michael Easton is done. But I mean, they've surprised us before, but I do think he's done. And they got rid of him because they were bringing Lucky back for Liz.
Yep.
And, unless they recast, Hayden's not a possibility anymore because she's on Bold and the Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they would bring him back.
Right. Yeah.
I think that they'll either have him go do Doctors Without Borders or they'll do a thing where Violet leaves to go live with him somewhere else, but comes to visit.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think, Lucky is coming back specifically, in terms of love interest for Liz.
Yeah.
They're going to put that back together. And it's like, I really feel that they have to reestablish, and this is a pandemic on General Hospital in that they have to reestablish the parents with the children. They have to establish Danny with Jason and and Jake with Jason. Now it's time for Aiden to kind of get some time with his father.
Yes. Well, I mean, when Sam dies, they'll be doing stuff with Jason and Danny as well. Because, that's going to be.
Exactly. And, do you think that Dante will step up for Scout or
she'll go to Drew.
So even on the campaign trail and going into Washington.
Yeah, I think she'll go to Drew because Drew lives at the Quartermains.
True.
So yeah, she'll go live with her dad. And yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I mean, we got a lot of stuff, coming up down the pike that is going to be, going to be changing the landscape of GH.
Oh yeah.
One thing I have to point out here, I have to say this, and I know it's going to be a controversial take, and we already did Angela Answers fan mail, but I am getting so sick and tired of the people on Twitter with these campaigns about both, Jacqueline Grace Lopez and Kelly Monaco leaving the show. And here's the deal. It sucks. I'm going to say it point blank. I like Blaze. I like the pairing of craze. We did an entire show a couple weeks ago about representation. And I stand by that. But with that said, I am putting trust in the writers of the show, in order to make the right decisions for the show. We may not see what's going on now, but Blaze was written out for a specific reason. Will she be back? They left the door open for her to come back.
Yeah.
Natalia is still in town. They're potentially bringing her brother in. So there's an opening for her to come in. She just has to be off canvas for now.
Right.
With Sam, she's been, and I see we lost some viewers. So, it's like I get it. And with Sam, she, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but she's been there for over 20 years. She hasn't had a front burn story in the last 5 or more. And, let Kelly Monaco go somewhere else where she can get a lead role if that's what she chooses to do. If you're a Kelly Monaco, and don't get me wrong, I like the character of Sam. I've been a fan of Kelly Monaco's for a while. But with that said, the fact that she's not going to be renewed at GH, and I know that the stories are out there about, lessening the episode count, giving her a break in pay, and, apparently she came out and said, I accepted the lower deal, but they still wanted to get rid of me. Whatever. We're not there. We weren't in the boardroom. We weren't in the writer's room to say X, Y, Z, this is why we're getting rid of you. But the fact of the matter remains is that she's not going to be there anymore. And if Kelly Monaco decides to go to, let's just say, Young and the Restless, they could put her on a front burn storyline, and she'll have a 200 episode count for that story, for that soap. And that would be good for her because she'll be making more money and yada, yada, yada. But the thing is like, I want the people who are fans to be fans of the show. Watch the show, and if you're watching for a specific character, a specific couple, that's your prerogative. I get it. I can't change it. I watch for the show. No matter what changes there are, everybody had, the opinion because they killed the iconic Luke Spencer off screen in a cable car accident in Amsterdam. Oh, how could they kill off a character like that, off screen? They should have brought him back. Anthony Gilroy retired. He's living with his husband. He's happy. He doesn't want to come. Sure, they could open a Zoom video, for closure, but that would be specifically to appease the fan base.
Right.
But you know what? It's happened in every single entertainment genre. Charlie Sheen left,
people leave, and that's how it goes, especially in soaps. This show has been on 63 years.
Yeah, exactly.
63 years. People leave.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, people were fired for her to come on because that's how it goes too.
Yep.
And I get it. I have my faves too.
Yeah.
And I don't even have a problem with people campaigning to try to keep their fave. I think it's messed up that, the show makes a post about an actor's birthday, and these people are in that post with that, knocked off. You're just showing your ass at that point.
or actors come out and say something positive about about the situation for Kelly, trying to uplift her, and they get blasted and called heartless.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Agreed.
Knock it off, people. You do not know these people in real life. You do not know everything that's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
Period. End of story.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know that there are a lot of, emotions, and emotions are high. And, the actors, when they're fired, sometimes have big emotions as well. And I get that. They're human.
Yeah.
But things come out about actors years after the fact that we never knew.
Exactly.
Nobody knew Billy Miller, rest in peace, had bipolar until after he killed himself. The fans didn't know that. It didn't come out until later.
Yep.
And there were a lot of stories about, things on set with him and stuff that nobody ever, knew the root of. So I'm just saying, you don't know everything.
Exactly.
And our faves are human. Yep. All of them.
And that, that brings up a whole different issue of, what's personal and what's private and what's public. Yes, Maurice Benard is completely out in front of the fact that he is bipolar in real life, and Sonny's character is bipolar on the show. But not everybody puts it out there.
And that's okay. They don't have to. Right.
Which is why I had such a problem with the storyline with Blaze and Kristina when Blaze was outed and all that she was canceled for keeping part of her life personal. And it's like, whether it's your sexuality, whether it's your mental health, people, even celebrities, have a right to privacy. Yes, their public personas are out there. And, if somebody is, if there's a paparazzi or whatever that's taking pictures, everything's fair game. I get that. But there are still things that they are allowed.
Right. And they don't owe us their entire lives.
No.
And someone getting fired doesn't mean they were wrong.
Right.
No matter how long they've been there.
Nope.
Exactly. And I would say the same about my fave. Does that mean that, nobody fired is wronged? Of course not.
Right.
But that, not everybody fired is being wronged. The majority of people fired aren't being wronged.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this before on the other pod about the toxic work environment that people are accusing GH of having.
Yes.
Ingo Rademacher recently sued General Hospital and ABC.
Yeah.
And he contended a lot of things.
Yeah.
That wasn't one of them.
Exactly.
And he would have, because he threw everything he could at them.
Yep.
I'm just, just saying.
Yeah. So take that, with what it will. And take that for what it's worth. The fact is that a lot of times, we're not, or all the time, we are not in the boardroom. We are not in that writer's room. We are not, in the, offices at ABC. So we don't know what happened. For all we know, they could have pulled, Jacqueline Grace Lopez into the room and said, listen, we're going to give you a 6-month break because we have a different story. And then we'll bring you back. And for all we know, Kelly Monaco could have been said, listen, we're not renewing your contract, or we're going to go ahead and put you on recurring, or whatever the case may be. And whether or not it was agreed to or not, we will never know. If she comes and if she comes out and puts everything on the table, then again, you're going to read it.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll know. But
and here's something else that people need to keep in mind.
newbie contracts on a soap opera.
Mhm.
The show can fire them for no reason whatsoever every 13 weeks. The veterans,
Mhm.
including Mo, Laura, Steve, all of them, they can fire them every 26 weeks.
Yep.
They don't need a reason.
Yes.
And these people agree to these contracts
Yes.
because that's the job.
Yep.
That's it.
Exactly.
And they know what they're agreeing to.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, they didn't even short her contract. She's finishing it, going till, shooting until October.
So it wasn't, we gotten the rumors that with Marcus Coloma, when they chose not to renew his contract and instead bring Adam Hudson as a recast, that he, put up a hissy
Refused to, yeah.
refused to film. I don't know whether that's true or not. For all we know, he was, he told them that he was sick or had a illness, and they told him not to come back.
Right.
We don't know. But the fact is that whenever you put something on social media, everybody takes it as fact, whether or not there's proof.
Yes.
Don't be like that. And if she had such a big problem with being let go of GH, again, it would have been breach of contract, but she could have said, okay, I'm not coming back. You can get a fill in. But she's still filming until she's contractually obligated. She's still filming. So take it with what you will. All right.
Yeah.
So now that you got a preview of Angela Answers fan mail, we do have a little bit more of GH to go over, and we probably won't hit every single beat, but I do have to bring this up. Could we just get a huge round of applause for the interplay with James and Tracy from last week's breakfast episode?
Hangry. Yes.
Yeah, when James called Tracy hangry, and you could almost see the embarrassment on Maxie's face just by how she's
Yeah.
oh my god, just fantastic.
Yes.
James is going to be a player.
Yeah, that little James actor is.
Oh yeah, he's got it. He's got it.
Yeah.
And Jane Elliott comes out and is like, goes after Sasha, and is like,
Yeah.
who told you you could have, use our food to make this
Yeah.
breakfast for these people? And she's like, Olivia.
Oh yeah, Tracy was definitely doing her Lady of the Manor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nonsense. Yeah.
And then Mac put her in her place. Mac said,
Yep.
I don't understand how you could treat your staff this way. And
Mhm.
that you don't lose more staff this way. And then that's when James chimed in and said, here, have you seem hungry? And and that's when he came up with the hangry thing. And it's just I was rolling on that. I loved it. I absolutely loved that interplay.
Yeah. That was a really good scene, I thought. Or good scenes, yeah.
Yeah. And then, James asking Cody, can I have sleepovers like, at your place like
Like
Sasha?
you have with Sasha. Yeah.
God, that kid's gonna be a pisser. I could tell he's good. I hope they, really develop that character now and keep him in there because I mean he knows the secret of Nina and Drew and Willow and Drew, so
Mm-hmm.
about
Yes. Yeah. It's that secret is bubbling. Yep.
yeah.
The pressure cooker the temperature's rising.
Oh, absolutely, it is definitely rising. Um, so we saw some scenes with um with Lois after her, initial. So what is I don't know what is up with this story. Is it just
I'm wondering if, well, here's irony
just upset with
is the ratings for the day that the first day that Sarah Sherman was on, that
yeah,
was very highly publicized, were good. They were the best rated days of that week by far.
yes,
But I'm wondering if maybe Raina was just like, is there anything we can do so I don't have to do this accent?
yeah,
Because it's not her real accent.
right, right.
You know what I mean? So maybe she was just ready to get rid of it every once in a while. You know,
Yeah, I get
it's not my favorite storyline, but they can't all be home runs,
no, but they had a good opportunity to bring in a character,
Mm-hmm.
off or two off, and
Mm-hmm.
as a dialect coach, and
Yep.
and she's a fan of GH, so I mean she's an SNL character, actor, so you know she's been there. I guess she does the weekend update with
Yeah.
Jost and Michael Che, I believe. So
Yeah, she's guested on it a few. Yeah, she does guest commentary on it, but she's on Saturday Night Live. She's good. I like her.
yeah, and I mean it was they were pretty good scenes, and I absolutely loved how Maxie and Lucy especially, and
Yeah.
they were taken aback by the lack of accent for Lois and
Mm-hmm.
enunciating everything just very slowly, and
Yes.
in the act, and Tracy's loving it because Tracy's the one that paid for it, and just again it adds to the dynamic between Lucy and Tracy and their animosity to
Yes.
each other and different viewpoints, and
Oh, it was so hysterical when Lucy told Tracy that she could use her services too.
yeah. Oh,
Oh.
and I really like how Tracy's setting herself up to be um to be insulted so much lately.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jane Elliott is like, what? I've had my career. Let's get some other people over at my
Yeah.
expense because nothing can touch her. Nothing can touch Jane Elliott, in terms of, popularity and, just the gravitas that she has on screen. So,
Oh, yeah.
the scenes with Cody are great. Her friendship with Cody is just amazing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so Jane Elliott is just, from what I've seen,
Oh, just phenomenal.
yeah,
She
phenomenal,
really is.
selfless actor because she gives everybody else
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity to get their stuff in.
And I love how they brought in Tracy's history with that too.
Yeah,
Because Tracy was on other shows, the
yeah.
character Tracy and stuff like, you know what I mean? And they brought in that history, which I really enjoyed. So,
Oh wow! So I got wiped. I got one of my. Hold on, I gotta check something. So apparently, maybe it looks like it got. Oh, never mind. It looks like it got erased. Um, I got a notification that somebody liked a Twix post. Uh, and it was allegedly liked by Billy Miller's agent or publicist or something.
mm,
Then it got erased. So I don't know if it was a mistake
mm,
or Marnie Spearer, I guess the person's
yep.
name, liked the post, but then I couldn't find which one it was.
Mm,
But it was
yeah.
because somebody had said something about, Billy was fired for standing up for Kelly, and Kelly was let go for standing up for Billy, and like, yeah. Again, we're not going to rehash everything, but
Yes.
it's just a lot of BS.
Yeah.
So, let's see. What else are we going to go with? Um, I did like Jordan and Isaiah. Are they chem testing?
Yeah, I think they obviously are, which, they definitely passed the test.
Yep.
And there was a whole lot of pretty in that room.
I liked having Jordan revert to her police instincts with the guy with this, the guy that was, trying to get in there to attack Isaiah, and she cornered
Yeah.
him, fought him off in the stairwell. I like that. I think Jordan is better as a police commissioner than deputy mayor, but
I thought it was funny too, the whole Isaiah thinking that she was a guy,
yeah,
which I thought was interesting.
yeah,
That was fun.
it was.
Yeah.
Jordan
Yeah.
ambiguous in whatever, male or female.
Yeah.
But doctors do have God complexes, and she pointed that out. When he said, "Oh, I'm a doctor," but or pointed out one of the best, or whatever the thing was.
Yes.
I don't know if Jordan's necessarily going to be a cop again. I think that I liked her singing. I think she would be better off as a cop, but I don't know if they're actually go in that direction. So I wouldn't get my hopes up too quickly because I haven't heard anything to say one way or the other. If they're
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure they're going to make her a cop again because I think that they're going to make her mayor.
that
But
makes more sense.
but we'll see because they might, especially if they send Anna back to the WSB as well.
Yeah. So
which they could.
I mean, theoretically speaking, they could always have Dante take over as commissioner.
Mac.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like the scene with Mac and Alexis and Sunny this week where Mac goes over to her house while Sunny and Alexis are there talking, and Sunny's like, "Oh, how'd you know I was here?" "Well, I'm not here for you."
Yeah, exactly. Not here for Kristina either. Although I also want to say something else about Sunny when he was talking to Diane.
Yeah.
And he was mad. He was like, I can't believe Alexis has put me in this position. And I'm like, wait, what? You put you in this position.
Yeah. And Alexis pointed out and said, if you weren't guilty, you wouldn't need Diane.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean,
she knows. She's been dealing with that man's nonsense for long enough that she knows.
I don't see a way out of it. I don't see
I don't either. I think this is his swan song. I really do. I mean, I might be wrong. This might just be, for my part, wishful thinking. I know that, you're not as much as I am on that one, but I think that that's where this is going. I really do.
And he's earned his flowers, so to speak. He's earned, regardless of how you feel about Sonny Corinthos as a character, Maurice Bernard is a legend, and he's earned it. If he chooses to go out on his own terms, and because I mean, the only way out of it is for him to, flee Port Charles, because he's either got to confess and say, yeah, I killed Jagger, or, and face prison for killing an FBI agent. So he's either going to prison for the rest of his life, allowing Alexis or some other schlub that Michael hires to take his.
I know. I just don't see how that works.
I don't either. It's like, yeah, somebody's going to come into town and say, hey, yeah, I killed this guy, and, I shot him in cold blood, and what's the backstory?
Right.
Like,
exactly. It doesn't really pass the smell test.
No, it does not. It does not. But that's pretty much it. I mean, we've gone over a lot of what happened, but what I really like is that the show's going so quick, but they're focusing on one or two major stories.
Mhm.
You know, they're not having three or four, stories going back and forth and this and that. You know, it's the same.
Mhm.
It's the same stories, but different characters are being involved.
Well, that's the thing, is that there are these big umbrella stories that involve so many people.
Yes,
And then
exactly.
they have little, satellite stories off of,
Right.
each of those that are little things. So yeah.
I mean, you could go ahead and suspend disbelief because there were a couple times you had to. Like, you know, why is Liz, um, you know, trusting Willow with certain things? Why is Willow going to talk to a comatose patient about her feelings for Drew? Um, like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It just like there's just some things where you have to suspend your disbelief, but you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. Um,
It-
um, so I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with the whole Lois story. Just got to suspend your disbelief, and it could have been just Reese Sofer saying, "I don't want to do this
yeah.
anymore." I've,
That's what I'm wondering, is if they're doing that, but we'll see.
but we're out of time. Kaiwan, thank you so much for being such a great tech chatter this week. Um,
Yes.
and um, it's fantastic for for you guys. Definitely go ahead hit that like button. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the views. Go ahead, go to buymeacoffee.com/suds and squared circle or patreon.com/suds and squared circle. Go ahead and help us out until we get the super chat function. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. Stay tuned for much more programming coming out this week. We're gonna have Dave.
So much. We've been doing it. I've been hard at work for hours tonight for you
Yes,
guys.
exactly. And then, next week we're going to be going chair shot Sports Entertainment Center. So definitely check that out if you're a wrestling fan. I'm still looking for a co-host for Heels, for a Heels rewatch. I am going to be doing a rewatch of the Mr. McMahon docu-series that's coming to Netflix on September 25th. There's 6 episodes there. John from Church Shot Sports, Matt from 10th Floor, and I are going to be doing a rewatch of, are going to be doing a review podcast about that. So that's in the work. So there's a lot of stuff going through with Suds and Squared Circle Media, but definitely check out suds-media.com for all of your needs for us. Help us out. Like I said, also, if you are a wrestling fan, go to suds-media.com/wrestling merch. That is our affiliate link for WWE Shop, which is a Fanatic experience, and that does help us out as well. Been a long night. Angela, let everybody find you.
Pattyprado.com, Brooklyn74 at Yahoo, or at Twitter, I mean. And you can drop any messages at Angela Answers Fan Mail at gmail.com.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll see you guys around the GH Soap Twitter streets.
Yes, and we'll be back with Suds News next Monday night at 10 p.m. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m. live is Dockside at the Bay. And then just stay tuned for everything else, and stay tuned to our Twix account, which is at Suds Media, and we'll keep you updated on everything that comes out. So for Angela, I'm Vinny. We will see you back next week right here for Suds News. Have a great